If you run native ads, I highly recommend you to split test advertorials. An advertorial is a page between your ad, for example, your Outbrand and Taboola ad, and your final offer page. And in this video, we will speak about advertorial and how you rotate them and test them to get a better result. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of nativeadvertising.net, your hub about nothing but native. Check out our website. You can find there free stuff, also courses, and way more. But now to this video. As mentioned already, and if you're familiar with my channel, then you are aware of it, that I always recommend to use an advertorial in between. So the main idea is to have an ad, then afterwards have the advertorial, and then the offer page. Offer page can be everything, doesn't matter. It can be if you run e-commerce, your Shopify product page. If you do run a lead gen campaign, it can be the lead form, whatever. Doesn't matter what you define as an offer page. But the little trick here is to run multiple advertorials. To run, for example, advertorial 1, to run advertorial 2, to run advertorial 3. To split test them and to rotate them. The main idea here is why you should rotate them is to get better results. So basically you should have, in ideal case, different marketing angles. For example, for seniors, for moms, with kids, whatever. So you have an angle, and below this angle you have this kind of setup. And you have here angle 1, let's say you have here angle 2, and basically at angle 2 you do the same. You have the ad, of course different ads, then you have the advertorial, and then you have the offer page. And also here exactly the same game. You have the advertorial 1, you do have the advertorial 2, you do have the advertorial 3. So that's the idea here. And yeah, as mentioned, the idea here is to get better and better results while you rotate them. So for example, if I have, like here, let's just focus on the advertorials. If I have 3 advertorials, ADV1, ADV2, and ADV3, then you can run every advertorial with 33.33% from the traffic. And after a couple of days, you just analyze which advertorial has the highest click-through rate, the highest conversion rate, and the cheapest CPA. And on that one you focus. So let's say in our sample here, the best result, the CPA, is coming from the advertorial 3. So now you know advertorial 3 is your winning advertorial. Next step is to create something like a lookalike of advertorial 3. So you have advertorial 3.1, advertorial 3.2, advertorial 3.3. And again, those ones you rotate again with 33.33%, 33.33%. I think you got the idea. And with this you can develop better and better results every week, or how often you do this kind of sprints in order to get better results and rotate your advertorials. Very important here, a few general things. First thing is, if you run a split test, my recommendation is that all the advertorials, that they have a very different kind of approach. For example, the first advertorial is something like a third-party editorial style. Let's say the advertorial 2 is something like a blog article in a more amateur style. And let's say the advertorial 3 is, now we have editorial blog. Yeah, let's say it's something like a doctor's letter, also, you know, something like a doctor's or expert's perspective. And now you just see, based on clear numbers, based on clear KPIs, which one is the winning one. And let's say in our case it's the blog one. Then you know, okay, I need to create more blogs. That's the simple math behind here. So now we know the theory. how you can set it up in the practice. You can set it up in the practice in very different ways. My recommendation is to use a tracker. A tracker is the software in between. It's the connection between the traffic source, which is, for example, Taboola, Outbrain, MGID, rough content, and between your final conversion. Maybe it's an affiliate campaign, maybe it's an e-com campaign, maybe it's a lead gen campaign. So you receive somewhere a conversion. And the tracker connects both things together. On the one hand side, the traffic source, and on the other hand side, you do have the conversions. And this together, or in between, in fact, are things like the advertorials. And this you can connect with the tracker. Sounds a bit abstract, it's easier than it sounds. And exactly with this kind of tracker, you can set up to have different advertorials, but just receive one link for the campaign, which you set up in Taboola or Outbrain. And even though you change maybe the advertorial or you rotate them, the link for the campaign is always the same, because I'm sure you're aware of it. As soon as you change the link in an active campaign, in a native advertising traffic source, then also the whole campaign status is changing to pending review. So if you want to avoid that and make changes on the fly in the advertorial, add a new advertorial, throw away an old one, just make a new split test, try a new thing here, use a tracker to do this. You can also do this with a simple link replacer like Bitly or so. But the disadvantage of a regular link tracker is that you don't see any stats. The good news is with a tracker like, for example, volume or Cloudflare, you do see the stats, things like the click-through rate, and you have everything in one place. So therefore, my recommendation is to use something like a tracker, but be aware all the trackers, they're a bit pricey. So this just makes sense if you're more advanced. In the beginning, use just something simpler. Sometimes you can also use the software directly. A software like Funnelish can do these kind of things like split tests, where you see also the whole analytical stuff for a way cheaper price here. I hope you liked that video. If so, I would extremely appreciate if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And last but not least, write me down in the comments below about which topics you're interested when it comes to native ads, and we will create a video about that. So therefore, start typing your comment below.